Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories has been one of the best gaming experiences I've had since sliced bread, since the day the Super Nintendo came out, since the very first day I was able to hold a PlayStation controller and boot up Marvel superheroes for the first time. Nah, who am I kidding? I'm miserable. So I already said everything I had to say about Chain of Memories, more or less in the first video, but all of that stuff really applies to the Sora campaign, which I thankfully finished. But I wasn't done with this game, because I made the absolutely ridiculous and stupid decision to try to get all the trophies. So I was left with having to deal with this Riku campaign, and then trying to get the rest of the trophies. Now, I already pointed out in the first video that I actually really like the Riku campaign, and nothing has changed from my first opinion. I really think that the best thing about this whole package is the Riku campaign. Everything is more interesting. Now, the only problem with the Riku campaign is that the Disney worlds are just not interesting, man, because there's nothing to do there. They're just there and you just go through them. And thankfully, because to be honest, I cheated. Oh yeah, brother, give me all these levels, come on! So that thankfully meant that I didn't have to run around and fight monsters anymore. So I could just go through the rooms and get straight to the point, to the meaty stuff, to the real story of the game. And I still stand by it. The Riku story is pretty interesting, and it only cements my belief that Riku is actually the real protagonist of Kingdom Hearts in a certain way. If you had to ask me which character I think is cooler and goes through much more interesting development, I'm going to definitely choose Riku. But I also understand that they need to make Zora the main character, because Zora is like a blank slate, and well, I get it, but to be honest, Riku goes through a much more interesting story altogether, in my opinion at least. So anyway, the Riku campaign is actually, I feel, much better to play, because they basically remove all the ridiculous, unnecessary complication of editing a deck, because it makes no sense, right? And they just give you predetermined decks per world, and that's it, man. So you just have to do whatever you can do with those decks. And I actually find that much more interesting, because when they give you this restriction, now you have to sort of figure out what's the best way to go about clearing the worlds. Because with the Sora campaign, the strategy is just really ridiculous. You just either make slides, or you just keep getting 9 cards and 0 cards and just spam them to death, and that's it. So for me, I find it much more interesting that they put this restriction on you, and then you have to make do with whatever you're given, right? Which is, if you think about it, it's kind of a mirror of how Riku has to deal with the things in Kingdom Hearts. Riku is just dealt this card and he just has to deal with it, and that's it, and I like that. So they introduce also this new mechanic, which is the dueling. Whenever you break the opponent's card with a card of the same value, you can activate what they call a duel. And what they do is just the opponent puts out a card and you're supposed to break it with one of your own cards. And there is depending on the enemy, you have to break a certain number of cards specifically, ranging from 3, 4, 5, or 7, something like this, or 3, 5, or 7, maybe 3, 5, or 7. And if you break them correctly, you're going to do a special slide, which is completely unblockable, and it does a bunch of damage. Now, I think this system is pretty cool, but to be honest, it's also not very smart, because usually what you do is you just spam the A button and you just pray that you're going to break every single card of the enemy. And for the most part, that strategy just works. So all you do is reload your deck, you break the card, start the duel, and then you just spam, because you have your entire deck to counter to win the duel. if you understand what I'm saying. So, pretty cool system, but pretty brain dead as well. It's cool, but it's brain dead, man. Now, the only difficulties I really had with the Riku campaign was, first of all, what is up with Wonderland, man? I think it's so hard. Like, I had the most trouble in Wonderland for some reason. I feel like the deck is absolutely terrible there. And then the second weird thing, and which is, this game is buggy, man. Like, I swear to you that I was fighting Sexia, I think he's called in the Destiny Islands, and he just got stuck, man. And I honestly thought I was going to be soft locked. Seriously, I thought I was going to be soft locked there, but he teleported out and he was fine later. What's going on? Why is he not moving, dude? Am I soft locked? Dude. Dude. Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay. So, I joyously finished the Riku campaign, but then this is when my suffering really started, dude. So by the time I was already back in my Sora save file, there was a lot of stuff I had to do if I wanted to finish getting all the trophies. And in fact, here's a list of the trophies that I was missing, which as you can see is not a lot. So at this point, it was just a matter of getting them one by one. And if I got the character trophy, I would also get the record keeper trophy. So I decided to do that first. So in my eternal wisdom of deciding that I should just skip all of the Disney content, I didn't actually know there was an entire point to the Winnie the Pooh world. I was supposed to look for Pooh's friends, and I literally did not read any of the text. I didn't give a crap. I would just press start and skip. So it turns out that I completely missed on Piglet. I never talked to Piglet. And I just looked at my record and there was a character missing there, and I go online and I try to look it up and I'm like, dude, who the hell is missing here? And it turns out it's Piglet, and you have to go behind Pooh's house and talk to him and stuff, and after you talk to him, he's supposed to be added to your record, but it turns out it's not that simple. So let me try to contribute something here to the general knowledge. So if you happen to be missing Piglet from your record in the Jiminy's journal, all you have to do is go back to the Pooh's world, go behind the tree, talk to him, and then after you talk to him, he will not be added to your record until you walk through the entire world again and you try to leave, at which point you're going to trigger a cutscene where Pooh is going to thank you for finding his friends, and it is exactly at that moment where Piglet will be added finally to your Jiminy memo. So these were really annoying trophies to get. So basically what you need to do is get 20,000 Moogle points, and then you need to spend them in the shop? What? It's just, all you have to do is get a lot of money, spend the money, that's it. So just go to Agrabah, spam Aladdin, spend the money, that's it. Ridiculous, man. So for this one, you need to make 30 premium cards, which means that you need to spend a lot of premium rooms, and then you use the roulette and make anything premium. So I don't really care which cards become premium or not, so I just made like a garbage trash deck of cards that I didn't care about, and I just kept playing the premium rooms and spamming A until I got whatever card into premium. And the premium room actually kept giving me premium cards, so this was actually really easy to do. No problems at all. Hey, do you remember a small clip of Zora in the 6-minute and 18-second mark of this video? What if I told you that this entire time that video has kept playing? Because all I do in that video is keep making rooms. Because there's a stupid trophy which says that you need to make 300 rooms during your playthrough, man. Now, this was an absolute waste of time. Even counting all the rooms that I had made during my playthrough, I had to spend a solid 1 hour just spamming rooms, man. And I did it in the most optimal way too, trying to just keep going in increasing order. Dude, I don't know who designed these trophies, but I just want to say this. I really hope you get an explosive diarrhea.
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am, how depressed I am.
The last trophy was a supreme pain in the ass because all you need to do is go in the menu and do this crap like a million times. You just add one card, back out, then delete the deck, then add one card and back out, and you do this until you're already out of your mind. Hey, but if you persevere, finally the game will reward you with a pop-up which says, hey man, you can stop now. You can stop now. And with that, my Chain of Memories journey finally concluded. I did everything there was to do. I obtained all the trophies. I did all the things. I suffered through the mechanics and the room creation and the environments and the fact that grabbing ledges is somehow impossible because the game is full of bugs or something. And I couldn't be any more relieved. I can finally start Kingdom Hearts 2. I have been waiting for a long time to start Kingdom Hearts 2. The only issue is that before I start Kingdom Hearts 2, I am still missing some trophies of Kingdom Hearts 1. I lied. I am missing some trophies in Kingdom Hearts 1. So I'm gonna have to deal with that first, and then finally I can play Kingdom Hearts 2. But I will need to play it in critical mode. And I already know this is gonna be pain and suffering again because the game is so hard, man. Well, what can you do? So please like and subscribe if you like my suffering. Bye.